Hey, what's going on YouTube? Surprise! The RazMan's here 2 days in a row. I know I said I wasn't going to do 24-hour blogs anymore, so Chris, if you missed your particular request, it is up in RazMansReality number 54. But I got some rather bad news today about the wrestler Andrew Martin passing away. So I wanted to do something to cheer me up, and what cheers me up most of all is usually coming and talking to you, my loyal YouTube audience. And I also have a loyal internet audience, as I mentioned, because a lot of my fanfare, a lot of my questions and comments come from forums. And so that is where the subject of today's blog comes from. I went to DVD File, Blu-ray.com, and Comic Fan Nation yesterday and was bombarded in all three places with one huge request. Well, not huge, but one particular request, which may be huge, depending on whether or not this ends up becoming a two-part video or not. And that is, RazMan, please don't just talk about your Blu-ray collection. Please show it off and give a little bit of a synopsis or discussion on each film. So I'm going to do that right now, and I thought it would be fun to try and do it in the order in which I received / opened / bought these. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Starting with the greatest example of what a Blu-ray film can do anywhere, period, The Dark Knight. Now, the reason that The Dark Knight is the greatest example of what Blu-ray can do is that it's the best picture quality of any Blu-ray I've seen to date. Followed closely behind by the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy and Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. But The Dark Knight to date is the best Blu-ray I've ever seen. It combined with the IMAX footage and the high definition footage and the way that they mix the film, which by the way is the answer to another question real quickly. Somebody asked me the other day, why RazMan is The Dark Knight shown in two different film aspect ratios? Well, the IMAX ratio, or the 16:9 ratio, is the ratio that fills up a normal widescreen television. And of course the black bar ratio, or the 35mm ratio, sorry about the itchy nose there, is the ratio that we see on most Blu-rays. And that's why it was the intention of director Christopher Nolan to show you the film in that aspect, and I'm loving that they did that, because they kept the film in the way that it was intended to be seen. So tremendous picture, pick it up, especially if you own a Blu-ray player. Next up is billionaire philanthropist Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. Another tremendous superhero film. A film that actually made me a bigger Iron Man fan than I ever was. Wasn't huge on those comics, one of the few comic series that I wasn't huge on, but Robert Downey Jr. just brings down the house in this movie. Again, great movie, and also great picture quality. Probably comes in fourth among Blu-rays that I have as far as picture quality goes. Next up is Hancock, starring Will Smith and the hotness of hot Charlize Theron. This is a very, very different take on superhero genre. Very, very entertaining. Not something you see in your everyday garden, as Severus Snape would say. So, definitely highly recommend checking that one out. Next up, Fred Claus. Classic Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti at their absolute best. So funny, but has a Christmas twist, obviously, being a Christian film. Next up, The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. I got the second film for Christmas before I got the first one. Great film, really enjoyed it. Again, like I've said before though, you have to separate between the book and the film in this particular case, or you're going to despise Prince Caspian with passion. I can promise you that right now. Next up is the first of one, which I actually bought with my own money, or rather Christmas money that was owed to me, but nonetheless was bought. The Incredible Hulk. This is not a sequel to Ang Lee's Hulk. This is a complete revisioning of the Green superhero, and a great vision. Very true to the character. Highly recommend this film. Awesome in high definition. Next up is the second film that I bought. This one truly with my own money. Again, Christmas money that was given me. Eagle Eye, starring Shia LaBeouf and Michelle Monaghan. Eagle Eye is a throwback to the psychological thriller where you never are going to be able to possibly guess what happens in this film until you see it. So if you like films that keep you on the edge of your seat and like to guess while watching a movie, Eagle Eye is definitely something to check out, without a doubt. Next up is the completion of Narnia on film, the first Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Again, like I mentioned before, great buy in high definition, totally changes the film and makes it so much more better, and so much the way that any Narnia fan pictures that beloved book. Must own. Next up, again, you probably know some of these if you've been keeping up with these blogs. Probably aren't surprised by the rest of this order, but nonetheless, sorry, this one's a box set, so kind of heavy for me, but with one hand. But there it is, Pirates of the Caribbean, the trilogy. Tremendous sight to behold in high definition. Like I said, right behind The Dark Knight as far as picture quality and sound, and really the biggest upgrade I've ever seen. No insult intended on The Witch and the Wardrobe, because it's great, but the greatest update I've ever seen between standard def and high def is without a doubt the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. So check that out. And finally, last but most surely not least, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And, of course, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. As I said, first two films are not reference quality. They were published for both HD, DVD, and Blu-ray, so you don't get the full Blu-ray experience, but overall, the greatest fantasy series, in my mind, big